So those 7 humanitarians killed in this senseless strike are Jacob Flickinger, a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen, as well as 3 British nationals, another one from Poland, then Australia, and also a Palestinian. All aid workers losing their lives while delivering food to starving civilians in Gaza. World Central Kitchen founder, Chef Jose Andres, honoring all of them in a powerful op-ed for the New York Times, writing that those 7 heroes are not faceless or nameless. They are not generic aid workers or collateral damage in war. They are the best of humanity. Now the bodies of those aid workers are being transported out of Gaza and into the hands of their loved ones. Our foreign correspondent, Britt Clennett, is in Jerusalem. So, Britt, Israel's military chief not denying what happened at all, even calling the strike a grave mistake. So what's the latest?
Yeah, look, I spoke to Ofer Falk. He's a foreign advisor to the Prime Minister just a little earlier, and I asked him about this global condemnation, this outcry that we're seeing from the international community, and he said that we convey our candid condolences to the families. He said, this is a tragedy that happens in a war. War is a tragedy. We've lost soldiers, he adds, we've lost hostages to friendly fire, and that's something we are working on. Now, this kind of echoes the first sentiment that we heard from Netanyahu when he came out and said, this happens. So certainly we are hearing these more sympathetic words from the officials, but at the same time they are keen to acknowledge that it's war, and in war these casualties happen. Now, look, he also said that, you know, I asked him, some people say it's intentional, and I put that to him, you know, people around that might be questioning how they managed to target 3 cars traveling in a convoy that were clearly marked with aid workers inside who were wearing bulletproof jackets that were also clearly marked with the charity's logo. And he said it's absurd to even accuse Israel of that. He said, last thing we want is to see civilians being hurt. We go to great lengths to make sure that doesn't happen. And he said he understands the outcry, that their goal is to continue to destroy Hamas, that their capabilities must be destroyed, and then they need to get the hostages out. But he also emphasized that they are working to get more aid in.
So at least 2 aid groups have now suspended work in the wake of this attack. So that has clearly magnified the challenge here to get aid into Gaza.
Yeah, we already knew that Gaza was facing an imminent famine. That's according to the UN. And the UN also saying that nearly 200 aid workers have lost their lives since the war in Gaza began. And now at least 2 aid groups pausing their Gaza operations out of safety concerns. That's going to have a devastating impact on the ground in Gaza, especially in northern Gaza, where the situation is already incredibly desperate, with people with a severe lack of medicine, of food, of even water.
So President Biden says that Israel has not done enough to protect civilians in Gaza, but at the same time says Israel hasn't violated international humanitarian law so far. So how is that possible as we consider this latest strike that killed so many innocent people?
Yeah, I think the legal question's becoming a question that people are asking more and more following that deadly attack on Monday on the World Central Kitchen. Human Rights Program Director Sari Bashi told us that the U.S. actually has a legal responsibility to not supply weapons to countries that are blocking the supply of humanitarian aid and committing violations of humanitarian law, both which she says Israel is doing. She says if you're helping another party commit grave abuses against civilians, then you risk being complicit in those abuses. So some very strong words from human rights groups, certainly from that Human Rights Watch official. She said that's a matter of international law. Now, the UN says, as I say, plenty of aid workers have already been killed since the start of the war. And Bashi said this case raises particular concerns because, as I say, these vehicles were clearly marked, that they were traveling in a convoy, and that they had informed the IDF of their movements before moving in to deliver that much-needed aid to people in Gaza.
All right, Britt Clennett, we'll continue to follow the story with you, of course.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.